crazy the way you love me. Why you keeping me waiting?
Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Superhuman Radio. You know, I have been using nootropics for decades now, even when people didn't know anything about nootropics. And the truth of the matter is, most of them were a letdown. I expected so much more. And because it wasn't just because companies were lying, but it was because my brain is very different than your brain and other people's brains. And so you have people that don't respond to certain compounds and others do. And they're telling you, oh, this stuff is the greatest in the world. And I'm like, what are you raving about? You know, it's not that great. And the truth of the matter is, I've had companies on the show that promoted nootropics, some big brands that you see every time you open your YouTube channel, they're blasting you. And what I've learned is this. And I've learned this from experience. Nobody told me this. The multivitamin approach to nootropics doesn't work. Well, maybe it works for you, but it doesn't work for 6 other people. And that's why I really believe a lot of people don't use the nootropics. Though they buy them once or twice, and their experience is, I don't know if that really did anything to me. The game changer was a guy who goes by the name Mr. Noots, Mark Effinger. You can't appreciate someone who dives so deep into the science and realizes, you know, this isn't going to work for everybody. There's other things that work for everybody. These work specifically on this part of the brain and not that part of the brain. And then trying to put it all into 8 capsules that you have to take every single morning. It's a big letdown. Mark zeroes in on things that affect the brain in different ways. And he takes the approach that medicine means, oh, we're not all the same. We don't respond to the same drug therapies. We don't respond to the same diets. And for some reason, the nootropic industry, I think, looked at it like, well, this is going to be too much trouble. If we have to start worrying about who this works better for and who that works better for, and then we can't make a one-size-fits-all product and just throw it out there. And when they do that, they self-select. Customers that it works for, they're satisfied. Customers that it doesn't work for, not only they're unsatisfied, but they become non-believers that nootropics are even a valuable thing to pursue. When Mark sends me a new product, and I really love it, and I kind of think that Chastity forces him to send it to me because she watches me on Instagram, and she knows when I injure myself. All of a sudden, Collagenea shows up. You know, she's my patron saint over there at the company Nootropia. So when he sends me this new stuff, I take it very seriously. And I'm going to tell you about some experiences about some stuff that he sent recently, and we're going to talk about some of the new products coming out of Nootropia. If you have lost faith in nootropics, I'm going to give you a chance to learn what nootropics should be like, and you can stop wasting your money on the multivitamin brands that pack a bunch of stuff into capsules and say, here, try this. Before we get started on this discussion, I have to thank my title sponsor, and that's Legendary Foods. We love them for the tasty pastry, the upgrade to a Pop-Tart. less than 1 gram of sugar, 4 to 5 net carbs, 20 grams of high quality dairy protein that tastes so delicious you really think you're eating a piece of pastry. This is no lie, and I've talked about it. And we've had a couple years of the tasty pastry now under our belt, and everybody loves them. And now Ron Penna and his amazing group have come out with sweet rolls. And if you remember the Cinnabon, I haven't had a Cinnabon in decades because they're garbage. They have captured the flavor of a Cinnabon. They have it in 3 flavors now: cinnamon, chocolate, and berry. You will swear you're eating something, but you're not. Sorry, I had a belch. I'm not Howard Stern. I don't belch on the air. These sweet rolls are unbelievable. They are literally taking the healthy snack category by surprise, because you will swear you're eating a piece of cake swirled with cinnamon and covered with real sugar icing, but you're not. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary. Use the code SHR10 to save 10% off, and also let them know that you heard about them here on Superhuman Radio. That's a very important thing for the show. And now I bring on my buddy, Mark Effinger. Look at him. He looks like a friggin' rock star. How you doing, Mark?
Awesome. I just have this warmth that comes over me when I find out that we're going to be speaking, and that the Joey Diaz of biohacking is on the other side of the mic. I freaking love that, brother.
I know. We got to hang out sometime.
Totally.
So I got to tell you, before we start talking about some of the new products coming out of Nootopia, I have to tell you an experience. As a former recreational drug user, admittedly, cocaine was a favorite of mine. I did downers, I did ludes, I did secanols, I did barbiturates, but they were like sloppy. I liked Black Beauties, I liked speed. We called it speed. We didn't call it meth back in the day. And I loved cocaine. I loved cocaine so much that I started dealing it so that I could have my own stash of it. And cocaine used to, for people who don't understand the pharmacokinetics of cocaine, it's actually a dopamine reuptake inhibitor, which means you just flood your brain with dopamine, and you talk, and everybody's wonderful, and your life is great, and but you got to keep taking it to stay at that level. And I always gravitated towards that. I could drink more. I could drink a ton more when I was doing coke. I had to smoke cigarettes when I did coke, and I did that too. But cocaine had this amazing ability for my mind to not race, but process thoughts faster. And I'm not talking about bullshit thoughts, and like real connected thoughts. And that was one of the things I loved about it. So, okay, fast forward to last week. I get a surprise. I get a bag of Dopa drops. Now, are these available to the general public yet?
They are. You can go through the Nootopia website and grab some.
So I followed the directions. I took it on a fasted stomach, and I didn't eat for almost 2 hours before, after my training. I was going to the gym. I felt it come on. But it wasn't that frenzied feeling from cocaine, but I felt it come on. And without even thinking about it, I was working on some challenges we have right now with the launch of Gun Leash. And all of a sudden, my mind starts working, and I'm driving past exits, like exits that I get off every single, you know what I mean? When you're deep in thought, you don't even realize, like, oh, shit, did I miss my exit? And the brain just starts running like this high-paced, efficient, and there's no stop process. You're just running.
Right.
That was the experience I had when I first used it. I thought, oh my God, this is legit. My brain is flooding in dopamine right now. I can't imagine. And I've taken so many nootropics, Mark. I mean, I was one of the guys who loved, phenylpiracetam, even though it tasted like ass. And I mean, but this stuff is legit. This stuff really does turn on dopamine production. Talk about this a little bit. Talk about this.
You know, this is great, Carl. By the way, that flow state, that Stephen Kotler,
Yes,
right,
becoming Superman. Right. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. So, and when you're reaching that, it's a really precious place to be, isn't it? I mean, you want to get there as often as possible. When I'm writing copy, or whether I'm doing an experiment, I've got like, I'll get these really wild extraction technologies out and start working with bioreactors, and then you're trying to find the miracle molecule. And so getting into that flow state with dopa drops is a require. So what it was originally developed for, Carl, was basically to reduce the refractory period after male orgasm.
Yeah.
Wait, what are things, like right? Mind, body, energy, sex, and sleep. Okay. In that order.
Right. Right.
And so it was developed for that. And then what happened was, in the beta test, which was quite a few thousand people in the end, they were saying, you know what, this is really, really powerful for helping me stay focused without an Adderall buzz or that grittiness that I get from an amphetamine type, right? And so I get the focus, I get the clarity, I get the lateral thinking capacity, I get all of those great attributes, and I don't have the grittiness, the brittleness, nor the assholishness that might come from a more of an accelerated dopamine plus adrenaline.
Right, because with people who love the upper side of drugs know that even cocaine, it causes a certain level of agitation. That's why I used to smoke a lot of pot with cocaine, because it causes a certain level of agitation. So you have this core wonderful feeling, but you have this this sense that if somebody really like F's up my game right now, I'm just going to go off on them. And it's always there. It's always on the edge, that agitated feeling. Yeah.
And all it takes is a little tiny bit of noradrenaline, and boom, that dopamine noradrenaline mix will take you into orbit. So the idea was, how could I help you release dopamine at a nice steady rate using precursors primarily, so that you would never have that feeling of, one, worrying that you're going to run out of it. This was always an issue for me when I was younger, or not younger. I'm 61, right? So I'm an old guy. But when I was in my 30s and just about 40, when I had been through a serious health crisis, I only had a certain amount of cognitive capacity available every day. Mm-hmm. And if somebody used it up in a stress event, then I was screwed. The rest of the day was gone.
Yeah,
right. So the Dopa Drop was built as a 3-stage dopamine release mechanism, relying upon the amino acids phenylalanine, acetyltyrosine, and then L-Dopa from velvet bean extract.
Mm-hmm.
And then articulating those with signaling molecules to get them so that they release into the bloodstream at a very regulated rate, and you get this compounding, nice, smooth dopamine level that then plateaus at whatever your optimum level is, whatever you're calling dopamine in your system. Mm-hmm. And then it slowly fades over your 8 to 12 hours. So you've got it available. You can rely on the focusing element and the reward elements of dopamine, as well as the recovery elements of dopamine. One of the things, if people are on their phones on a regular basis, that they're looking for the TikTok reward of somebody liking their tweet or their any of those things, you're using up dopamine, right? That little spike is using up dopamine.
Right.
And what you need to do is you need to replenish it. But if you just do direct dopamine, if you just try to fill that hole with direct dopamine, what's going to happen is your body's going to say, I got all the dopamine I want, bro. I don't need any more. And so what'll happen is you'll start running out of it. So you start running out of dopamine and your body quits producing it. And that's why when people go into, say they go into an MDMA, roll over a Molly weekend, the next Monday they are trash typically. So, yeah.
Right.
So
you depleted all the reservoir. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And you've reduced the count of your dopamine receptors, right? So your dopamine receptor count is reduced, your sensitivity is reduced, and your quality and amount of dopamine are reduced. So those are three really terrible issues that I wanted to solve. And keep in mind that I had been working at the time, I had been working with a guy that was one of the masters of trying to replace MDMA on the dance floor at raves.
Right.
So, yep. And so that combination made it so that this became a much more effective solution to getting dopamine into your system, to signaling your body to make as much dopamine as you wanted and needed for those events, and to not drop you out of it. You don't crash at the end of it. The dopamine levels start to fade while the ability to make dopamine is always there. So it's a really critical thing to know. It's got a very long half-life.
Doesn't MDMA, isn't that just a serotonin antagonist? Is that the right word? Doesn't MDMA work on the serotonin level?
Serotonin and dopamine. Yep.
And
Very
dopamine.
critical. Yes. Much more. So yeah, much more serotonin, but it dances with those two.
Yeah, no, yeah. So just for shits and giggles, there's a compound found in magnolia trees.
Yep.
That mimics MDMA. And I
Yes.
actually think that it's already been scheduled. So like people don't go out there and start making magnolia root powder and selling it, on the open market. But there is a naturally occurring compound in magnolia that does what MDMA does. So
yes,
fascinating.
And yeah, you can. What's really interesting now with all of the, again, you get these radical. You've got these radical extraction technologies. You can now isolate these really obscure molecules. Oftentimes we didn't know not only how to get them, but we didn't. Hold on a sec. For some reason, there we go. Is we don't know how to get to them, or we didn't know how to get to them because we didn't find them. They were buried underneath another molecule or alongside another molecule. And now that we have such precision in these tools, we can now isolate those and do incredible things like what we did with dopa drops and getting the L-dopa levels, 98% L-dopa level out of the velvet bean extract, and making it so it's not down regulating your own dopa stream in the body.
So this answers one of my questions. Whenever I look at any of your products, the actives seem to be highly concentrated, to 20-1. In some cases, I think that in your golden milk, you concentrated the curcumoids to like 100-1. I've never seen anything with that level of curcumoids. What am I looking
at? Brother, this is coming at you. This so
okay.
This is a new flavor. Chastity is right now crafting a new flavor. She said, "Oh, Carl's going to be on. I got to go make something cool for him." So this is a new flavor. It's incredible of the new College Genius formula. Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Caramel. Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be nice. And I like that.
Yeah, and then she's doing doing chai is her next one for you. So.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Oh, Elisa will love that. She loves chai. So how much caffeine is actually in dopa drops? I can't imagine it's very much because you can see the white powder.
No. Yeah, and the white powder is white powder is a combination of acetyl-L-tyrosine.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And other compounds. So the amount is anywhere from 20 to 50 milligrams max. So you don't need much. We're just doing it so that during the enzymatic process. So I want you to think about getting through the blood-brain barrier, as you are well aware, is that a nootropic that gets through the blood-brain barrier has to go through an enzymatic process once it gets into the brain. And obviously there's some B vitamins and some other enzymatic components of that. And then it separates into the critical neurochemicals so that it can actually be utilized by the synapse. So what we do is we do just enough. By the way, this is critical on all of our products. We do just enough of a stim layer, and caffeine is only a small portion of that, right? There are a number of different components we use so that we have the right half-life of those, so that during the enzymatic process that happens in the brain, we're able to give you enough lift so that when the actual nootropic starts taking effect, it kind of gets a handoff. So you get this handoff, right? From the stem,
gear.
and then
like
Yeah,
from
exactly.
first to
Right,
second,
exactly.
yeah,
Now you're
second to third. Yeah.
now you're rocking. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that when you're clicking. I think you've got a which kind of Harley are you riding this week?
I've got a Heritage Classic.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you know when you're shifting those gears, right?
Oh yeah. Well,
You-
it's not stock. I mean, right now it's at 101 horsepower, and it'll be 140 after it comes home for this winter.
oh my, oh my,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah,
I want people to take a look at this. I hope I can get them to see this. I'm going to see how close. So you can see this. This is it's like partition. There's an oil at the top. There's different colors of powder, and it's like gradient. As you get closer to the bottom, it's more yellow. How the hell? And these capsules have to be custom made for you because they're thicker than normal capsules. So they're designed to open up further down in the
the
digestive
GI
tract.
tract. Yep.
How the hell do you get this assembled like that in a friggin' capsule? Like, do you have special machines that do that?
Well, funny you asked that, Carl. They're actually done by humans right now in our Vancouver manufacturing, and so we take your data, your specific medical intake form that you fill out before you get our products, and we take the 15, 16, 17 million data points that we've accumulated over time from all of our other clients, and we take the ones that match your physiology, neurology, right, your neurochemical test, all those things, and we start doing this pattern matching and going, oh, okay, that's what we need to do. And then one of our professionals in our Vancouver lab will take that data and they'll go, oh, they need exactly this much of this component, this much of this component, plus or minus 5 or 10%, plus or minus this much. And they actually start weighing and stacking those capsules for you. It's amazing.
Oh, and I remember the intake form that I had to fill out when I got my first box of Nootopia products. And so that dictated what I got. And this is what I'm talking about. This multivitamin approach to nootropics.
Yeah, one a day.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's failed right from the get-go, because you can't affect someone's brain unless you know the unique things about their brain, what exactly they're searching for. And it's really laughable, because the work that goes into filling an order for your company is ridiculous. It's not just take a bottle, throw it in a box, and send it.
No, it's as far as you can get from that. Now, that said, we have an incredible roboticist who is literally right below me, in the floor below me. We've got a 24,000 square foot R&D lab here in Burlington, Iowa. So we've got quite a bit of space that we're occupying with geniuses. And then we've got a whole Bosnian lab as well with 20 incredible PhDs and PhD candidates that are doing their work. But what we're working on right now is exactly what you said, was how are we going to reach, for us, how do we reach 1 billion people or 2 billion people with this technology affordably, effectively, and customized, still personalized and customized. And that's going to take some roboticists. So he's right now he's already built phase 1 of a oil fill for doing our oil fill capsules. Like brain flow is a great example of that. And then he's now working on the powder fill, and he's literally 3D printing these powder technology fills, working on compression technology, rotational technology, stepper motor clarity, the resolution of the stepper motors, and getting it so that we can be plus or minus 0.2 to 0.5 of a milligram per ingredient. So having that resolution is just incredible, and it allows us to do really, really complex products as well.
So I instinctively said that you're going to change the game for nootropics, because you're raising the bar so high that none of these companies, unless they tear it down and start over, and they don't have the decades of experience that you have in this. I see Nootopia becoming the dominant force in nootropics moving forward. I mean, this is an example. I took a dopa drop an hour before the show today, 2.5 hours after I ate my morning meal. Nice. And I felt it come on, and I am so lucid right now. And I am so filled with clean energy, but I'm not like jittery. I'm not like over Usually, if I took a stim-based product before an interview, my audience knows because I walk all over the guest. The guest is talking, and I'm like one of those dogs. Ooh, squirrel. It's like I don't want to talk about that anymore. Let's talk about this. I just move on. I don't have the drive to just break in. That's why I know that this is dopamine. This is not a stim.
Theo Vaughn calls that the Jack Russell Terrier approach because right, you just can't shut them up, man. Once they get going, they're going crazy. No, now, I agree, and that's I mean part of it, Carl, is there are so many ways to build unique clarity, lucidity, right, focus, happiness, joy, sexual performance. There's so many ways to do that are just really unique to an individual. And until you actually start experimenting and playing with that, you're kind of lost. But when you do start playing with it, you've been doing this now for 20 plus 30 years. I don't know, forever.
20 years.
I mean, really, if you consider the explorations, you and I both played with drugs as youth and beyond. And I remember that my stepfather bought an expired or a bankrupt medical supply company. And I found in the corner of a room, I found a 1 gallon or 1.5 gallon glass jar of methamphetamine powder.
No
It was.
Oh, I thought it was hell of a thing to find at 17, 18, and 19 for me.
Yeah, it was great. It was one of those things. And so and mushrooms and psychedelics had also been a part of my experience in the past. But the thing with those, and again, those were great experiences to have. I mean, I'm not right. I'm not going to demonize them, but they can be really, really sketchy for people that either don't have the neurology, physiology. I was very fortunate. I was an athlete, always have been an athlete like yourself. And that helps to eradicate some of the downside risk that we do. But at the same time, what's really cool is I get the effect and the benefits, the upside benefits of any of those things that I experimented with as a youth. I get to get a better event with no downside, with an accelerated and increasing upside, meaning that my baseline operating state gets better and better every week as a result of just getting clean, nice, pure extractions, applying them in the right formulations for me for what I want to accomplish that day or that hour or that week, and then living with those in concert with, a good workout schedule, hydration. Thank God for good flasks, and right, and kind of living in an environment. And then the other positive thing is, I will run across in utilizing these tools, these nootropic tools. I will run across combinations that affect me in a unique, special, and really powerful way. And it becomes another superhuman toolbox tool that I can access it at any, right? And because once I hit that, I go, okay, cool. This level of these neurochemical precursors, along with these ones in these caps that we make right now at Nootopia, combined at this time, and again, an hour, 2 hours, whatever, after a meal, or just before a meal, or maybe with a carbohydrate, like a little bit of a carbohydrate rush, right? Something like that. And suddenly I'm feeling like a god, and I can actually, what Matt calls God mode, right? Matt Gallant, CEO of Biooptimizers, and you reach God mode, and then you're just doing things like passing the exits, except what you're doing is maybe I'm sitting at my desk and I'm multitasking with 2 computers. I've got a bunch of activities going on. I've got 150 different tabs on my browsers, and I'm able to put together, it's almost like pattern recognition. It's that right? It's that Bradley Cooper sitting down at the desk.
And you know what? You can't be, I didn't mean to step on you, but I want to get this in because
dude.
So, when people think of IQ, what you need to know about IQ is IQ is a measurement of your ability to identify patterns and understand patterns in a multi, what's the word I'm looking for? You when you can see patterns on several levels at one time, that's where the magic is. That's where the magic is. And that's where what IQ really is. It's not about your ability to how many people died on the Titanic, and that's memory.
That's rote memory. Yeah.
That's not. I want to put this up. So, does the Dopa Drops are the Dopa Drops available? Why can't I get it to work? There we go. There we go. Are the Dopa Drops available in the Nootopia? Yeah, I know it's slower than me. Are Dopa Drops available when somebody orders their Nootopia starter kit?
Yeah, they'll get an offer at the end of as we're filling it out for Dopa Drops, and I think Gabalicious as well, which is our GABA centric drink. It's our alcohol alternative.
I haven't tried it yet, believe it or not. Look, if you want to learn more about Nootopia's products, which are legitimate for the intelligent person, are legitimate nootropic products that you will feel what they state you will feel from each and every one of them. And then you can design your own stack instead of some multivitamin type stack that comes in a bottle. You can go to shrnetwork.biz/Nootopia, and that's NOOTOPIA, and use the code SHR10 for 10% off. There are 9 game-changing formulas, 4 breakthrough brain stacks. Now there's more than 4 because when we made this image, that was the beginning. But there is infinite customization, and that's the exciting thing. Again, shrnetwork.biz, and the code is SHR10 to learn more. If you've been let down by nootropics, which many of us have, don't give up hope. You just were looking in the wrong place. Go to nootopia.com. Yeah, no, that's it. It's true, and I guarantee nobody's going to be disappointed. This stuff, like I said, I took this and I was going to work, and my brain was racing so fast, and I was connecting dots so quickly, and literally solving problems on the way to work. Well, the downside of that was I drove past my exit.
Well, here's a funny. So this, I don't know if you can see that there on any of your viewers, right? That was called Idea Fisher. I was in business before we started this, and I started working on this, which was in 2008 is when I really focused on it. But I was in business with the founder of Century 21 Real Estate, and he and I developed a lateral thinking software that's used in all of the Fortune 500 used it. And then many of the Fortune 5000 and the Inc. 500, Inc. 5000 used it. We had about 400,000 customers, and it is lateral thinking software. It's actually software to help you think laterally. And when in 2012, when I started providing our products in privately to a number of our high-end customers, is my announcement to those 400,000 was, "Hey, folks, I'm going from software to wetware. Who wants to join me?" And it was incredible. But you know, this software was very powerful because it allowed you to put in a color or a word or a name or a thought or an idea, or ask a question, and it would come up with all the associated bits and pieces and organize them for you. What we can do now with nootropics is that same thing in our brain, with the reliability of knowing that we can cue those ideas and not lose them. They're not those fleeting ideas. It's not the dream that you have this brilliant $1 billion idea and you wake up and you go, "Oh, damn it, what happened to that?
Right.
Where'd that idea go?" Right? There's retention. Yeah, retention and recall. Yeah, so it's great. So you get the lateral thinking, and you get the retention and recall, memorization, and you get the emotional connection, the emotional feeling. How do you want to feel? Well, we can program that. So, yeah, man.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about sleep. Because everybody has sleep problems today, one type or another. And you have 2 products that I have played with. One of them I'm in love with. I'm going to talk about it when we come back. Stay tuned. You are watching and listening to Superhuman Radio. We shall be return. There have been no real breakthroughs in resistance training for over 200 years. Whether it's pulleys or free weight, they all depend on gravity and the angles associated with gravity's effect directly on the weight. All of that has changed with the ARX machine. ARX stands for adaptive resistance. The ARX machine uses a 25 horsepower motor. You are literally fighting against a 25 horsepower motor, so every single rep is your 1 rep maximum at that moment in time. But ARX leverages another technique that has been known to produce rapid muscle gains and strength, and that is it leverages the eccentric or negative portion of the rep, which completely blows every other exercise and resistance training product out of the water. Go to shrnetwork.biz/ARX and discover the future of resistance training. There are lots of concerns about food supply today. That's why you need White Oak Pastures. White Oak Pastures will deliver food right to your doorstep. You don't even have to go out and be disappointed by shopping in grocery stores. The finest beef, pork, lamb, duck, and more can be found at White Oak Pastures. And now they even have seafood. And best of all, White Oak Pastures has a negative carbon footprint, which means that you don't have to feel guilty for eating your ribeye. Go to shrnetwork.biz/white oak and use the code SUPERHUMAN to save 15% off. Never before has a product been so appropriately named as Botanic Tonics Feel Free. This plant-based elixir combines a variety of different effective compounds, all from raw plant materials that at different doses provide you with completely different experiences. A third of a bottle puts you in the zone and makes you very focused and is ideal for a non-stimulating pre-workout. It also has a mild analgesic effect for us older lifters who have soreness and little pains and aches that keep us from training as ferociously as we want. A half a bottle will create a mild euphoric effect that will allow you to forego consuming alcohol, but still be socially lubricated and have fun. I have never had a product deliver on its name the way Botanic Tonics Feel Free does, and I won't ever be without it, and you shouldn't either. Go to shrnetwork.biz/feel free and use the code SHR40 for 40% off your first order. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. P3OM from Bioptimizers is a patented prebiotic and probiotic supplement with Lactobacillus plantarum OM. It has now been upgraded to P3OM 2.0 with the addition of a superfood formulation that makes it 2 times stronger, as well as optimizes L. plantarum's strength. So it's more powerful than ever, which means that not only will it help you completely digest all animal proteins, it also reduces cortisol, causes deep relaxation and better sleep, and reduces stress. Go to shrnetwork.biz/P3-OM today and use the code SHR10 to save 10% off.
This is the Superhuman Channel, where we use oxygen for the power of good.
Welcome back.
Boom.
I just want to remind people real quick before we start talking about sleep. We did a show last week with Dr. Irina Conboy and her husband, Michael Conboy, who run the Conboy Lab on Longevity at UC Berkeley. They are the group that studied parabiosis, putting old blood in young rodents and vice versa. And they recently published a study on plasmapheresis, removing plasma from the body and replacing it with synthetic plasma. Plasma is just saline and a bunch of proteins. And so it's not hard to synthesize plasma. And we made a groundbreaking discovery on my show. We were talking about plasmapheresis, and what came out from this was it may be as easy as donating plasma periodically to reverse aging. And the plasmapheresis research showed the exact reversal of aging in rodents, and now it's showing in humans. Phenotypical signs of aging disappear after just 6 or 8 of these sessions. So go find that show, listen to it, and consider donating plasma. You can donate plasma actually once a week easily because plasma replenishes itself in 72 hours. You just drink a lot of water and your body puts in the rest. But consider donating plasma for its anti-aging effects. I think that we have stumbled onto something exciting, real anti-aging, not bullshit supplements that reduce telomere, all that stuff hasn't played out in humans. There's no human studies on metformin or any of those products. So check out that show. I'm telling you, I feel like we could actually change the health of the population if people start listening to this stuff. Another thing that people have to do is sleep well. If you don't sleep well, you're not going to age well, and you're going to die sooner. You're going to develop metabolic diseases. And the drugs that your doctor will prescribe, these hypnotic type drugs, they are akin to what's the word I'm looking for? They produce an amnesia-like effect. They're akin to getting hit in the head with a baseball bat. You lay still for 8 hours, but you're really not sleeping. So finding natural products that help you sleep is a big deal today. You've got 2 of them now, right?
We do. Yeah. And it's exciting. I mean, one of the things I've said for years that sleep is the world's most powerful stimulant, right? You wake up from a good sleep, you get a good 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever happens to your cycle. You feel like a rock star from the start. And then anything on top of that is a boost, right? So we and I, as I'm gaining in years, right? 61 is I absolutely needed something, and our clients needed something that was going to both help them get to sleep, help them stay asleep, increase REM and delta cycles during sleep, extend those from whether they're using an Oura ring or using some more complex technologies to monitor and manage that, but wake up crisp without that sleep hangover and get enough of that recovery and recuperative cycles that they actually are able to move forward radically. Now, on top of the sleep cycle, it's really valuable if you have something to detox or remove toxins from the brain that are developed during the day. And that's what we built. We have a thing called Mental Reboot PM, which is a capsule you take, an oral capsule you take, and that combined with our sleep solution. But what we've got is we got a thing called Sleep Breakthrough. So this was not, Carl, this was not an easy solution to arrive at. The critical ratios of each of the components made a major difference in how you slept, how you felt when you woke up, all of the characteristics of the healing, and then again, the length of your delta and REM sleep cycles. So, so this is a powder drink mix. Tastes great. You can thank Chastity for that. Matt actually has some great contribution to that as well. But it's an incredible product. And you know, you talk about magnolia bark, which magnolia bark extracts.
Honocule.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So this is a major discovery and component. You'll see it in the upcoming version of our Sleep Breakthrough. But when I started working with this, I started working from the fact that Zach Bush says, he goes, look, on a day-to-day basis, we're at least 10 grams shy of our glycine levels. 10 grams shy of the glycine levels we should have in our bloodstream. As a guy that pushes around the iron, you know how important glycine is for both strength and recovery, right? So, yep. And saying, so what we did is we used that as our base, glycine and taurine as our base to get us started. And we started building around that and looking at how the amino acid interconnects work and what happens in the body when they start breaking apart. These amino acids start breaking apart and becoming critical parts of our bloodstream and our body, right? Our musculoskeletal. So that's what we did. So we started there, and then we worked with, of course, magnesium, as having a bunch of experience with magnesium. So magnesium bisglycinate became a component because that in your parasympathetic centers, the magnesium is great for relaxing muscles, relaxing the brain, getting rid of a lot of noise. But then on top of the magnesium component, you can double that up with pharma-GABA. And pharma-GABA is a form of GABA that's actually grown. It's a mold extraction, and that extraction is then cleaned up, and it's incredibly effective. It's one of the only GABAs that go through the blood-brain barrier. So you're getting the actual GABA into the brain, right? So that it can actually articulate that. And what's great about that is it gets rid of the chatter. The noise in your brain goes away. And then we wanted to accentuate that. So one of the things we did was there's a thing called P5P. It's a form of B6. It's methylated, very bioavailable, and that helps to actually work on the enzymatic activity of the GABA and the other components to be able to make it so it's much more bioavailable.
How
and
much
it's going to
B6 is in there? How much of the P5P is actually in there?
The actual number, let me see here. I'm looking at our last, because we iterate the heck out of this, Carl.
Right.
The last version of it, which is right here, is of the P5P is 25 milligrams per dose.
Mm-hmm.
So 6 milligrams of B6 would be a decent dose. 25 milligrams P5P, and keep in mind that it releases over a time period, so you get this incredible benefit long term. But you'll find your state change happen. I typically take it an hour before I want to actually fall asleep, and then about 40 minutes into it, I'll feel my state go boom. It's like powering down my jet engines.
Right.
It's great. And then so that's kind of our sleep solution that we're using. And again, combined with Mental Reboot PM, you'll get incredible sleep. The Mental Reboot PM will also accentuate the sleep. You'll have dramatically increased. We've had some people that have over 250% more Delta and REM sleep cycles.
That's really great, because the REM sleep interruption is where we did shows on this. So REM sleep is when your hard drive defrags and indexes.
Correct. Perfect.
A lot of the events of the day get cataloged and put where they belong, so you can find them later, called memory consolidation. And people who don't get enough REM sleep night after night, they start to develop short-term memory problems, because they can remember what they did when they were a kid, but the stuff that just happened yesterday and the day before didn't get cataloged properly, and they can't find it later in their brain. And so REM sleep is real. I mean, most of us get really good deep sleep. Like I get at least an hour and a half to 2 hours of deep sleep, but it happens right at the front of sleep. As soon as you fall asleep, you go right into that deep sleep. But then, because of metabolic issues, another thing that's important for glycine, I've been taking glycine for literally a decade as part of my sleep protocol.
Right.
But the other thing so glycine does two things. Glycine is a better instigator of GABA production than GABA.
Yep.
But more importantly, glycine is a highly glucogenic amino acid, and most people, their blood sugar fluctuates at night, and it wakes them up because the brain goes, "Whoa, what's going on with blood sugar? Wake up, asshole! We we're afraid." And they wake up and they don't realize that they just had a hypoglycemic episode. Well, guess what? Glycine will cover that hypoglycemic episode, because the body will be able to turn it into sugar, blood sugar, without waking up the adrenal for sleep. I listen.
Absolutely. Perfect. You nailed it.
Oh, there you go.
All right. We on? Oh, here. You want some light reading, Carl?
We're on. I thought
You want some light reading? Read synapses.
Yeah. I don't think so. It's a little above my pay grade. Yeah, somebody. I wonder who this is. This may be Taylor C, because for some reason his security, or Joel Green. Glycine is the most underrated amino acid out there. And you know what?
Absolutely.
It comes from collagen. And collagen is 50% glycine, and more people need to be tough. I did an argument one day for why you should buy that cheap chuck steak that has been tenderized because tough steak has higher degree of collagen in it, and everybody wants the tender steak, but the more tough meat you eat, the more collagen you get. So, anyway.
Yeah. And so speaking of which, that led to, of course, Collagenius, which was our approach to combining those elements. So the sleep cycle is such. I mean, it's obviously there's a couple of fantastic doctors who mastered this. I wouldn't want to even try to approach their level of understanding, but at the same time, I can tell you that if you can correct your sleep cycle, if you can optimize your sleep cycle, everything else is going to work better. You're going to, for you men, you're going to wake up with morning wood a lot more frequently because your hormones are going to be recovering, right? You're going to get much greater levels of natural testosterone. Really super important characteristics. And the cool thing is it's in balance with your physiology and neurology. So you're not going to just have this rise in hormone levels and rise in neurotransmitter levels, but that rise is going to be in alignment with your performance output. So you're able to actually just perform better, almost as though it's effortless, because it is, because it's your body just tuned in again, working well. But we didn't stop at just having a drink. And by the way, the way I do this, I take and I mix up a number of spoonfuls. There's a little spoon in here, a number of spoonfuls. I have a snap top glass jar at the edge of my bed. I mix up a bunch of it, and then I'll drink it over two or three nights. So I'll sip it for 40 minutes or whatever, and let it come down. And I you don't need that much.
And that was the mistake I made. So when I got the first prototype, because I'm the 250-pound Wistar rat, and so the literature said take 4 heaping tablespoons.
Oh.
I was like, I was eating pudding, and it said, and like put it in 4 ounces of water, and I'm like, oh my god, this is. Then I thought to myself, and I had an agitated night's sleep because GABA does that for me. GABA is a curve, right? It works, it works, and then when I have too much, it agitates me, and I feel like it reverses the effect. So I figured it out. So see, I didn't get the little plastic scooper. I was using a friggin' soup spoon. I'm like, man, this is gonna last 3 days if I do this every night. So then I just took a teaspoon and I did a heaping teaspoon in water and drank it an hour before. But I gotta tell you, that spray is a lifesaver for the nights where I wake up in the middle of the night. See, I tape my mouth at night because I.
Oh, you're one of those guys, huh?
Oh, I've been doing it for a long time, way before it became popular. And so
I love it.
I tape my mouth, and so when I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I want to sleep a few more hours, I roll over, I pull the tape, I open my mouth and I spray it twice under my tongue. I put it back, and within minutes I'm back to sleep, and I get and it's unbelievable. I get exactly 4 hours of good sleep after using that. Now, what is that? That stuff's amazing.
Yeah, that was like Dopa Drops is a sequential release of dopamine. Is I needed a sequential release of serotonin and melatonin so that you could get those two paired up. And
right.
So that's what came into place there. And again, it's a super microdose. Right. I mean, when I say super microdose, this is below clinical dose. If you just measured the melatonin, it would be below clinical dose significantly. But we went, of course, above and beyond that. And
so a clinical dose of melatonin is 600 micrograms. According to a lot of the literature, 600 micrograms is all you need of melatonin. So it's well below that, you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Each spray is 23 and a half micrograms. So 2 threes, 50, roughly 50 micrograms. Well, but again, combined with 5-HTP, again, P5P, and some of the other elements, it gives you this sequential release. The way that Matt uses it is he's often traveling across time zones. So if he knows that he's going to be flying from Panama to San Francisco, he'll grab that. He'll do 3 or 4 sprays, put his eye mask on, put his binaural beats on, and then boom, he's gone. And when he wakes up in San Francisco, he feels like a rock star, ready to go. Right. It's great. I use it one of 2 ways. I'll either use it as a tool to get me into what's called sleep onset, right? Where I want to get to sleep almost immediately. Take a couple sprays of that after my drink, and boom, I'm out. And then if I wake up, if I'm on a high stress environment, if something critical is going on, I know I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. I do exactly what you do. A couple sprays under the tongue, let it sit, boom, I'm out.
Sleep. Yeah.
Yep.
So I experimented with intranasal melatonin, which worked really good. Got to use DMSO is the only appropriate solvent. But it burns the hell out of your nostrils, so I knew it would never be a good product. But
I would smell like fish.
Yeah, right. But you know what? I was wondering. I know that. Let's see. The thing that causes sleep pressure is, what is it when isn't this funny? I'm going to forget this.
Are you blanking on this?
Yeah, well, you know why? I've got too many things going through my mind right now. So the thing that causes sleep pressure is, what does creatine replenish? ATP. Thank you. So I got to go through it.
Yeah.
So Adenosine causes
Yes.
pressure. I always wondered if you could make something that would cross the blood-brain barrier that would increase adenosine and include that in a sleep product, because that would really cause, like, if you can trick your body into thinking you've been working hard all day, you got all this adenosine from the cleavage of adenosine triphosphate, and that tells you you're tired, and that causes sleep pressure, and you go to sleep. Why can't we leverage adenosine to produce a sleep product?
You know, that's a really, really absolutely great question. I know that the cycle is very long, right? The adenosine cycle is very long.
Right.
And if you've been listening to Huberman at all talk about the best way to wake up in the morning with your coffee rush, right? With your Java, is to wait 90 to 120 minutes before you have your coffee, right? So adenosine can go through its cycle, finish its cycle, and then when you take the coffee, you're not going to get the afternoon crash. You feel a lot better about that. But that's a really interesting. I would love to, now that you planted that seed, let me go fertilize that sucker. And on our next call, let's talk about what we've done. I'll send you some samples in the meantime.
Because adenosine is actually a drug. It's not a controlled drug, but it's a drug. So you can't just put adenosine in a nasal spray and it goes right to the brain, because it would get right into the brain. Now, you have to have something that converts to adenosine with the enzyme required, that it does its conversion to adenosine as it's passing through the blood-brain barrier, which through the nose, that's the Trojan horse to get it right to the brain. But I always wondered, adenosine and melatonin would be a great combo, because it would make you tired and keep you asleep for a while. We have to take one more commercial break, and then we'll wrap up the interview. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more. I have a button that's bad on my board here. We're going to take a break. Stay with us. Stay with us. Remember those rectangular toaster pastries you used to love when you were a kid? Well, Legendary Foods has just made them better. The new cake-style tasty pastry is like nothing you've ever had before. With 20 grams of high-quality protein and less than 1 gram of sugar, you'll feel like you're cheating, but you're not. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use the code SHR10 to save 10% off your purchase of tasty pastries. Now available in cookies and cream, red velvet cake, birthday cake, blueberry, strawberry, brown sugar cinnamon, and hot fudge sundae. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use code SHR10 today. I would easily say that I am the hugest proponent you will ever meet to doing anything that will improve the quality of my sleep. And that's because sleep is linked to just about every metabolic disorder we see in our population today. One of the easiest things you can do to improve the quality of your sleep is to get a pillow that can be shaped into the exact form factor that allows you to get your best night's sleep. And that is MyPillow. I've been sleeping with MyPillow for a few years now, and I can tell you that when I have to travel and stay in hotels, I don't get a good night's sleep because I don't have MyPillow with me. Right now, you can save up to 60% off of everything offered to improve the quality of your sleep at shrnetwork.biz/MyPillow when you use the code SHR. Or you can call toll-free 800-889-4938. And remember to use code SHR to save up to 60% off of everything at their website. Merrick Health is a premium telehealth platform that connects customers with partnered providers from the comfort of your home. Merrick provides concierge service with your very own patient care provider as your health advocate. You'll go over all your needs and goals, from improving sexual function, hair loss prevention, increased muscle, fat loss, and overall improved performance. Prescribed treatment options can be ordered and shipped directly to you if you meet the requirements, all from the comfort of your home. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Merrick Health. That's MAREKHEALTH, and order your comprehensives and get 10% off with code SHR. Don't forget to add the lab analysis to have results reviewed with potential over-the-counter supplements or treatment recommendations. That's shrnetwork.biz/Merrick Health and use code SHR at checkout. Or order your own desired labs with code SHR and get 10% off your first lab order.
Dogs should be powered by fat and protein, not carbs. That's why Visionary Pet makes low-carb, ketogenic dog food for dogs of all breeds and life stages. From kibble to freeze-dried and even low-carb treats, all Visionary Pet recipes are very low-carb, ketogenic, and made with 100% real meat protein. Shop now and use code SHR for 20% off your first order today. Your dog deserves the lifelong benefits of optimal nutrition. Make the switch to Visionary and see why smart dogs eat low carb.
This is the Superhuman Channel.
evolution just got kicked up a notch.
Okay, so I just got an email from Justina.
Nice.
And she said to make sure to remind everybody that from the 21st to the 28th of November, there will be Black Friday offers of 25% off of all Nootopia and Bioptimizers products. So I'm going to put this placard back up. The way to take advantage of this is to go to shrnetwork.biz/Nootopia and use the code SHR10. And on top of the 10% off, you'll probably get an additional percentage off that will astonish you. And I'm telling you, get the Dopa Drops. Get the Dopa Drops. They will motivate you every day. You'll be able, you take them. And how many can I take in a day?
You can take 2 a day, but I would cycle them only because they've got such a long tail, and you want to basically be able to refresh your system. I do them about twice a week is what I do them because they've got that long tail. And here's another trick, right? So if I take them and some krill oil with Capex, Capex, right?
Yeah.
So proteolytic enzymes, you're going to break down those oils, get dramatic distribution, and you'll have as much as we're working on a cap right now that has a 7,000% increase in bioavailability on traditional oils. Wow. And then of course your P3OM, if you want a probiotic that rocks, P3OM is a great way to start. We worked our butt off this year in especially our Bosnian crew to create the new version of all of those that's coming out. I think you're going to love it. It's a blow away, the amount of improvement.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for being here today to talk about this. This is, again, I can't say this strongly enough. These products from Nootopia will not let you down. Now, which product you end up focusing on will be dependent on your physiology, your brain, but they will gather the data up front before you order the product to at least get you into what silo you belong in. And then you can fine tune from there. Which one didn't you like? Which one did you like? Then they know, oh, you need more serotonin. You need more dopamine. You need more of this. You need more of that. And the product just gets better and better as you use it because it becomes your product. It becomes personalized. It becomes personalized. There is nothing out on the market today. I just got an email from a company pushing nootropics at me. And I know who they are, and I've tried their products, and I don't feel like taking 8 friggin' capsules every single morning and being let down. This is legit. There's real science behind this, and decades of personal experience and hundreds of thousands of people who have tried it. There's nothing like Nootopia in the world. There really isn't. And so if you really want to experience the ability to be the best version of yourself every single day, it starts with Nootopia. The other thing I want to say is happy Thanksgiving to you and the audience, because I'm off the air after today until next week. Elisa and I start cooking tonight. We have two different families to feed. Her stepdad, we bring Thanksgiving dinner out to his house because he's stuck in the house, and then we are having relatives over the following day. So I start cooking tonight. I'm going to experiment with a new cheesecake recipe. So hopefully that'll turn out right. Elisa's home cooking right now. And so I will not see anybody. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody in the audience. And let me say something. You have a choice. You are going to be feasting for the next few days. If you do 2 things, you'll turn it into muscle, not fat. The first is push-ups, body weight squats, and if you have a bicycle, a high-intensity sprints before every time you eat. It literally shifts the way your body handles that food and turns it more into muscle than fat. So you could just break away for 10 minutes and you can go and do a quick workout. You could do 20 push-ups, 20 body weight squats, do 3 or 4 sets of that, and then sit down and eat your meal. And you'll see a big in how you feel and look after this holiday. And so there's nothing wrong with if your family laughs at, oh, come on, enjoy your food. No, I will enjoy my food if I do this first. So do that. And the other thing is refrain from the alcohol. Try the Gabalicious.
Fabulous, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make sure you get some out there.
Yeah. I'm going to try. And I'm also going to try the nighttime version of what was the one you said, GABA, the product you take with your sleep powder, the other capsule.
Oh yeah, the mag, yeah.
Yeah,
I would take the magnesium, yeah. So magnesium breakthrough, incredible. And also when you're eating, these have been a game changer for me. I've got bad gut. Yep, Masszymes is incredible for that. It was actually made for bodybuilders that were doing 4, 5, 6, 7,000 calories a day, and they needed a way to get that digestion happening. So, yeah.
I wish doctors and insurance companies supported Nootopia. The current mental health field is failing. Yeah, it is, because they want to give you drugs that hurt you. That's why.
Yep.
And Sean
You
Watson.
don't know how many people we deal with on a daily basis who are recovering from the meds that they were prescribed for 20 years, 15 years, 30 years. So,
and Sean Watson, who is also one of my first investors in the Gun Leash project. Thank you very much for that, your trust. And we're going to have a lot of fun in the next couple of years. Also says, have a great Thanksgiving. And everybody enjoys. Tell Chastity I said happy Thanksgiving. And she's an amazing artist.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I love her style. She's got an abstract eye, and it comes out in what she does. So she's fantastic.
Do you have an available wall space, Carl?
I got an 8,000 square foot house. What do you think?
I got
a lot of available wall space.
I dig it. Let me see if we can put something together for you, man.
All right, that'll be cool. Very cool. All right, look, have a great holiday, brother, and we'll see everybody next week with more Superhuman Radio. Don't forget, share the show. You never know who you're going to help when you share the show.
Love it.